guys, this is Smithy. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. And if you guys have already been subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for subscribing. Today's video is an extra special one. We're going to talk about our top 16 pink and red eyeshadows that I have in my collection. This is the last color in my best of color series. So if you've enjoyed this color series, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and also do subscribe to my channel. But without further ado, let's dive right into the video. So I'm definitely going to go from light to dark. The first eyeshadow that I have to talk about is from Colourpop. Now I have inserted this in my Ofra palette, but this is the eyeshadow that I'm talking about, and this is Colourpop's Ringer. It's an absolute beautiful champagne shimmer shadow with a pink undertone. And this, I often wear it as an highlighter and my inner corner highlight. I mean, this is absolutely stunning. And that reminds me, I have not done my nose highlight. So I'm just going to pop the same shadow as my nose highlight and on the bridge of the nose, because why not? Look at that shine that it gives. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. The next shadow that I have to talk about is another topper shade in my collection. And this is from Urban Decay's Moon Dust eyeshadow palette. And this is the eyeshadow that I'm talking about. It's called Element. Now, this is what I have in my inner corners today. If you are curious on how I achieve this look, it would be at the end of this video. But let's talk about this eyeshadow. Look at that. I mean, it definitely has a lot of pigment, but as a topper shade, because it has so much glitter particles underneath, it's more like a duochrome, if you can see. It's like a gold, pink, orange. I mean, it's an absolutely stunning eyeshadow. I actually have used this eyeshadow in a video where my son and my husband is doing my voiceover. So I'll link it in the iCards above if you want to see it in action. Now, next is two matte shadows that I have to talk about, and it is from Nabla's Secret palette, and it is these two eyeshadows that I'm talking about. So first I'll swatch Guilita. I'm not pretty sure how I pronounce this name. And the next eyeshadow that I will swatch is Contigo. But both of them absolutely stunning eyeshadows in my collection. This is a matte baby pink, and this is what I have in my crease today as like a transition shade. And this is Contigo. And this is what I have like underneath that as my inner and outer corner shade. And look at those undertones. I mean, this is definitely a baby pink. You can absolutely sheer it out to a light veil of pink on your eyes. And Contigo, that is a kind of shade that I love to put all over my eyelids for like a one and done eyeshadow. It's a beautiful mauvey pinky brown, I would say. I absolutely love these eyeshadows, and the quality in the Nabla Secret palette is chef's kiss. Now let's move on to another shimmer shadow that I have to talk about, and this is from Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, and it is this shadow that I'm talking about. It's called Oh My God, God as in G-O-U-R-D. I mean, I love the names that they've selected for this palette, but look at that. It's a baby pink shimmer, but it reflects so much on the eyes. It definitely is like a chunky glitter in the palette, but you can definitely smoothen it out. And I often wear this when I'm going for that baby pink, like a very romantic kind of a look. That is the shade that is like my go-to. I absolutely love that palette. You guys know I've done 5 looks with that palette. I will also link that in the description below or in the iCards above. Do check it out when you do have time. The next shadow is from my Ofra's Wahida Khan collaboration, and it is this eyeshadow, which is called Sublime. Now, it doesn't even do any justice in the pan when you see it, but look at it when it is swatched. I mean, look at that. It's such a beautiful dimensional shade. I mean, this is definitely a more, I don't even know how to say. It's like more of a rose gold shade, but with a strong pink undertone. I would say a strong mauvey undertone. But when it is applied onto the eyelids, I mean, this shade reflects like crazily onto your eyes. I absolutely love that as my one and done eyeshadow look. Now, the next two shades is from my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette, and it is this shade and this shade. I am head over heels on this palette. But yeah, it's a limited edition palette and I don't know why, but yes. So let me first swatch Girl Bye for you. This is Girl Bye. I mean, the undertone is what I'm like crazy about. Look at that shadow. And the blendability of these Dose of Colors shadows are unlike other, and the shimmers are not even like real. It's such a beautiful shimmer, and this is called Game Over. And this is what I have all over like the center of my eyelid. Look at that shade. I can't even explain myself like how amazing and stunning these eyeshadows look when you apply it onto your eyes. You guys know how much I love this palette, and it's one of my top palettes in my collection, and I've repeated quite a few times on my channel before, but it is what it is. Now the next shadow that I have to talk about is from my Pat McGrath Sublime eyeshadow palette, and it is this eyeshadow that I'm talking about. It's definitely a duochrome. If you can see it in the pan, it's a red, golden, green kind of a multi-chrome, I would say. Again, I've done a look using this eyeshadow on my channel when I was testing out this product. But look at that. I mean, when I see just like that, it's a green. But when I see it on the monitor, it's definitely a red. Can you see the shift happening? I mean, yeah, you can see it. It is such a stunning eyeshadow when you put it all over the eyes. I mean, this is like one of my best eyeshadow look that I've created using that shadow alone. I mean, absolutely lovely. I don't know what I can say about Pat McGrath's eyeshadows because the quality is amazing. I think one of the best things that I've tested in 2020 is that Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. Now, the next shadow that I have to talk about is from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and it is this shade, which is called Sissy. Again, this is often a shade that I wear when I'm going for that baby shower kind of a, you know, when it is a girl or when I'm supporting girls. I mean, that's an absolute wonderful shade. It's again a duochrome of pink and gold. I mean, you definitely see a lot of shadows like this often in like a pink palette, but this definitely has that, you know, the best quality among the eyeshadows that I own in my collection with the pink and the golden reflect. What can I say? I mean, I am a fan of that palette for sure. And if you guys want to see like a 7 look or a 5 look with that palette, definitely do leave it down in the comment section below so that I can film it for you guys. I don't know if you guys are into tutorials or not, but I am an old school tutorial kind of a girl. So if you are interested, do leave it down in the comment section below. The next shadow is a red eyeshadow, and when I think of red eyeshadows, this is the one shade that like pops out to me, and I could not include any red shadow other than this in my whole like best of 16 eyeshadow, and it is from ABH's Jackie Aina palette, and it is this beautiful red eyeshadow called Wigglies. I mean, you know my love affair with this eyeshadow palette, right? So I don't want to repeat that again and again, but look at that. I mean, have you seen a much more stunning eyeshadow other than this? Like, I don't know. Have you seen it? If you have, let me know, because I feel that this is magic. I mean, this is stunning, absolutely gorgeous on the eyes. I've again done a look with that palette using that shade actually on my like Christmas glam look. Love, love, love it. Cannot emphasize it more. Now, if you are looking for like a true matte red, I do come back to this again and again, and this is from my ColourPop's Gather Round Sisters palette, and it is this eyeshadow. It's called Night of Frolic. It's a little messy eyeshadow palette because I use it, but also these are like deep grungy tones. I mean, absolutely packs a punch on your eyes. Look at that. And that is Night of Frolic. Let me just smoothen it out for you guys. That gives so much depth onto your eyes, especially to like pack it up in the inner and the outer corners. I absolutely love the undertone also. It definitely has like a little bit of like a burgundy undertone to it. So it's not like red, like blood red onto your eyes, but definitely it's such a beautiful eyeshadow to have in your collection. Another true red eyeshadow, if you're looking for a matte shadow, is another one from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. And it is this eyeshadow that I'm talking about. It definitely is like a dark matte red shade, and it's definitely a little more different as compared to Night of Frolic. I don't know whether it would come out in the swatch or not. See, this shade called Jax has a lot more like brown undertone in it, and this is much more burgundy. I absolutely love that eyeshadow, man. That's such a beautiful like color, even all over the lid, I would say. Generally, when I'm going for like all over the lid, I'm actually going for like a mauve shade or like a deep orange red shade. I mean, I feel that is the one shade that like really complements brown eyes and makes that brown color pop more. I mean, I absolutely love that eyeshadow palette. I've like repeated twice, I think, in this video itself, but that's how much I like it. So let's move on to the next shadow. And again, it is from Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, and it is this shade called Warm and Cozy. And this is what I have in my inner and the outer corners. This is stunning. Quality wise, shade wise, I mean, this is much more neutral in undertone, I would say. A lot more chocolatey brown with a red undertone. I mean, all of this are looking the same, but not exactly. A lot more burgundy, a lot more like true red kind of a shade, and a lot more brown with a red undertone. This is much more neutral. This is a lot more warm tone, I would say, and this is much more cool toned. So that's the variety that we have. I hope it translates on the camera itself. If it's not showing up in the swatch right now, I will show a close-up of these swatches next to each other so that you can like make up your mind that which palette is like best suited for your liking. Now let's move on to the last two shades that we have to talk about. The second last shadow that I have to talk about, I definitely have to talk about a burgundy shade, right? How can I not include a burgundy shade in my top 16? And it is from Juvia's Place Masquerade Mini Palette, and it is this shade called Color Bar. Again, another stunning eyeshadow. The formula, the pigmentation, the blendability, the punch that it gives is amazing. I mean, my hand is crazily pigmented because of all these shadows, but nonetheless, this is like a stunning palette and a stunning shade to have in your collection. I absolutely love Juvia's Place. It's been quite a while that I've not purchased from Juvia's Place. The only thing that I own in my collection is the Masquerade Mini Palette and the Magic Mini Palette. But I'm very, very intrigued when in their like small, the quads and the 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. I mean, we'll see what we can do in 2021. But let's talk about our last eyeshadow. And the last eyeshadow that I have to talk about is again from Pat McGrath. And this is from the Subversive palette. And it is this eyeshadow that I'm talking about. And this is called Blue Blood. I mean, it's not blue at all, but I don't know why is it called Blue Blood. But this is again a stunning eyeshadow to have in your collection. I've done a Scorpio look on my channel using this eyeshadow. I will link it in the iCards above. But look at that depth. It's such a romantic and a sexy eyeshadow to have in your collection, I would say. I mean, this is such dimensional and this is stunning. I mean, if you're going for a date night look, I feel that and like topped with like a glitter would be stunning. Or that alone with like a crease shade, one and done. One and done eyeshadow. That's what I like. If you're not aware already. So those were my top 16 shades for my pink and red eyeshadows. Now let's move on to the swatches. Okay, now let's just wrap up all the shades together. This is Colourpop's Ringer. This is Urban Decay's Moondust Palette Element. This is Nabla's Guilita from the Secret Palette. This is Nabla's Contigo from the Secret Palette. This is Too Faced Pumpkin Spice Palette called Oh My God. This is Ofra Wahida Khan Palette. The shade name is called Sublime. This is Dose of Colors Friendcation Palette called Girl Bye. This is Dose of Colors Friendcation Palette called Game Over. This is Pat McGrath's Sublime Palette called Corruption. I hope the duochrome is catching on the camera. This is Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette called Sissy. This is AB8's Jackie Aina palette's Wigglies. This is Colourpop's Gather Round Sisters palette Night of Frolic. This is Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. Jax. This is Too Faced Pumpkin Spice palette, Warm and Cozy. This is Juvia's Place Masquerade Mini palette, Color Bar. And this is Pat McGrath's Subversive palette, Blue Blood. And those are my top 16 eyeshadows for pinks and reds. I hope those 16 eyeshadows were really helpful for you guys. I mean, I have chosen the maximum amount of range for you guys. Now, because I love neutrals and pinks and reds, I've included top 16, but rest of them are my top 12 eyeshadows. Again, if you like the series, do give it a thumbs up. And now let's move on to the tutorial. And that's my final look. I really hope that you guys enjoyed my top 16 picks for red and pink eyeshadows. If you did like this video as well as my look, then please do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also ring the notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload every Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!